I took down a video. I gave a being a little bit of leeway, and it went a little too far. And I put it on private. I didn't even want to send the video out, but I forgot to push the save button. So I just pushed the private button, and then I closed it, and then so the video got out. 3 people viewed it. So I'm only making this video, actually not just for 3 people, but whatever. Yeah, I give beings a little bit of latitude. Beings from the hell realm. So this being threatened people in a very harsh way. A very harsh way. And I know why people in hell do stuff like that. You know, they don't feel empowered, but they do have the power to make you tormented, you know, and beings have that power. You know, the real power, like if it were me and somebody committed some egregious crime, I'd just send them to like a training center, like a different world where they could just train to understand, or I would just make them a hyper empath. I'm not that powerful. I can't make everybody a hyper empath. If I had that power, I would use it in a second if I had that power. You know, I don't have that kind of power. And so what happens is people get to their baser stuff because they don't, you know, they were threatening people. There are beings on this world who have an argument that anybody who uses art should go to the deepest hells in the world. You know, and this being was really mad about it. Yeah, and there are actually beings who are making that argument. They're not going to win the argument, you know. But some of these beings come unhinged, and I looked at the video. I'm like, okay, I'll let you in for a second. And I looked at the video and I said, no. I just immediately pushed private on the video. But because I didn't push the save button, forgot to push the save button, 3 people saw this being who talked for 1 minute and 27 seconds, and it was a horrible, like horrific thing. I mean, it did say some interesting stuff, and so I'm just kind of going along with it, all right, and then it just comes out of nowhere, and that's how those kinds of beings work. That's how they talk. That's how they think. You know, they don't want to give the impression that there's leniency for everything, because they're in a situation where they're being tormented day and night, and so they don't want to give that leniency. You know, these kinds of beings. It's really about how we come together and have the discussion. It's not about this kind of back and forth that beings have. The reason I never ask somebody how they're doing on a particular day is several reasons. I don't want them to ask me. I mean, I deflect the question. I'm not mad at them. I just say I'm just doing my Jason things. But you never know what a person's going through. And that's the reason I don't approach people either. I let people just gradually on their own terms. You know, if you want to come to me, say hi, maybe we'll have a conversation. But people have so much PTSD, and I know this because I have a tremendous amount. And people have so much PTSD, I immediately acknowledge that it's not my right to walk up to this person and say whatever I want to say to this person. That's not my right. And I mean, I send these teachings out because I know if this was taught to my 16-year-old self, I would have never gone to a hell realm. And I'm sending these messages out to help people who have access to them. That's why I send them out. But there are beings out there. I mean, they're just balls of rage. And yeah, I immediately had to take that video off because it just wasn't appropriate to threaten the population in that way. You know, even if it's just 3 or 4 or 5 beings who have that philosophy and are working towards that end, it's not appropriate to threaten people in that way. You don't go there. So anyways, I made this video to explain to the 3 people who watched the video before I was able to figure out how to take it off, why I took it off. And yeah, that's it.